Hello and welcome back, everyone, as we are preparing for Game 2. Spoiler zone for any real ones watching this instead of the Super Bowl. Mute until I give you the peace sign. You've been warned. Cubby, what's the score update?
10-3. They're in halftime. Also, importantly, my phone was out of commission all day because it got the new update and the screen was just frozen, so it died. I had to I had a flashlight on for 14 hours in my room. It finally died and now it's back. That's the truth.
Love
thing.
that for you.
I can.
Love that
wait,
for
hold
you.
on. I gotta do this. We can fix that.
Oh, we can finally get it.
Yeah, we can fix that. You want to do it?
Is it live?
Yeah.
Is it happening? Let's do it. Here, I'll give the peace sign for everybody. We're past the spoiler zone. So Cubby was really tilted about this. I was hearing about this for the hour before going live. I'm happy he's just bringing this up for everybody live too. His phone could not interact with his screen behind him, which usually he changes the logo depending on what show he's doing. So now, okay, wait, here, let's show it. Production. Yeah. Watch that little, see that little screen? Yeah! Let's go! That's the real win for the day.
Baby. We're in Challengers.
I'm happy we were able to do that bit because we are also getting ready for Game 2. And now everyone knows what show they're watching in case they just stumbled in and we're like, wait, I usually rely on Cubby's screen to tell me what's going on here. Well, what's going on is Fear just won game number 1 against LiT and looked damn good doing it. So, what do we think about game number 2 here as we are waiting for pick and ban Cubby? I want to start on the LiT side. We saw them pick up a solid win on Friday. This time around, a couple execution errors, and they will not be able to play the same draft this time. So, what do you expect to change? What do you hope changes?
I hope that when LiT executes, they're just able to actually execute and pull the trigger. Messages wants that game back. Dragoon got solo killed early on, too. I think he wants that game back. Bot was behind after they had pushed. They didn't really do anything with the invades. Overall, that was a kind of a do-nothing game from LiT. And props to Fear for setting up that way. I think Toasty waned well in the messages, but there were a couple windows where LiT could have went in and could have executed, and they just did not put it together.
Yeah, I think that you saw the game plan, the theory, but you're right in that it was the execution that wasn't able to keep up with it. It is Challengers League. These are not the top players in the region. We do expect some gaffes here and there. So as long as the game plan was solid, I'm actually pretty happy. Even if the play didn't work out, if you're going in reviews as a coach, you're like, that's fine. At least you had the right idea. Let's just work on that execution next time around. So here's the banned draft or banned champions from the Fearless Draft of game number 1. LiT cannot play Cassante, Zinjo, Azir, Varus, and Karma. I liked the bot lane because it could shove in constantly, but we didn't actually see that at them too much early on. They were giving up those Dragon Prios regardless. So as we get into draft for game number 2, let's see what style they want to lean into this time around.
Oh, I mean, if we're going to do that, are you ready for it?
Are we just doing Taylor Swift references
I mean,
now?
it's the halftime show. Isn't she going to perform with Usher or something? And then, who knows? Anyway.
Yeah, Cubby's about to get in his getaway car and get out of this one. Go check out some other sports.
Welcome to New York.
That was a bad reference. Yeah. We're going to try. Yeah, there we go. Also, shout out, Cubby. I'm just hearing from production that apparently there was a Prime sub while you turned on your light behind you.
Oh, really?
So Cubby carrying the broadcast. Reminder that goes directly to the players in the league. If you do sub to the channel, thank you. Not for our sake, but for the players' sake, because there is revenue share with the teams and the players themselves. So shout out to anybody that does throw out that sub. Also, we got cool emotes. So either way, you're winning.
Yeah, I can always, spam those and advertise NACL among all the other Twitch chats, but at the moment, one of the things we have seen in Fearless Draft is sometimes teams will take away things that they picked, but the other team cannot pick for the next game. This time, though, a little bit different. Messages actually just going to first pick the Orianna. Nothing banned away that, sets anything up for anything in particular. I'm curious seeing that Olaf ban so early against Philip.
Yeah, it's the same bans, I think, from game number 1. Smolder off the table is the big one for me, just because I think teams are finally realizing how good it is. Orianna, though, huge for messages. Usually Toasty likes that. On blue side, they don't have to ban it this time, because I know that was actually one of their first-round bans last time around. So instead, it's going to be Maokai locked in for chat. Well, presumably chat. I guess it could go Dabshin's way. We've seen more and more Maokai supports lately.
I think that Maokai jungle actually got a little buff with some of the changes, because that Q is a lower cooldown now.
Smash,
yeah, so your clear is actually better, which is really nice. But Maokai support, it was the highest win rate support in the last patch, so the changes were to actually hit that. And pros kind of figured it out. I think that Maokai support still struggles, because if you don't have Aftershock, you are paper as a support. So I've seen some teams like run Nautilus into it, and I really like that matchup for Nautilus. But at the moment, all about that initial engage. It will be the Orianna Nocturne. And I gotta say, Kangas, I've actually been waiting for some teams to run Tahm Kench into this, so you can at least save one of your carries. I'm curious if that ends up being the case, if they try and give some protection over to Varus.
I think that the Tahm Kench, the Kindred has been a good one into it as well, but that's already banned away, so that's not on the table. But, I mean, you just look at the crazy range that they can actually find damage on you. The Nocturne Orianna combo we've seen pulled off incredibly well. Sometimes it flubs, but if it works, it's great. Jhin has long-range follow-up with Deadly Flourish and the Curtain Call. So they're going to draft for a little bit more range themselves, I suppose. We have the Azir. Similar thought, if you can get through the Nocturne spell shield while he's running at you, you can just knock him away before the fear goes off.
Yeah. Now, in terms of bans, hey, look, no Darius for Dragoon still, even though he gets to blind it.
This is now 15 bans total in NACL. Was that the number?
Yeah, just about. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like Cassante here, where you can play into Orianna Nocturne okay, and tanks in the Jhin feel really good. So maybe Cassante Udyr bans coming out from LiT to try and make sure that Jhin can actually damage someone.
Philip has also played Sion. He actually has not played the Udyr yet. From what I see, it's Aatrox, Sion, Cassante, Gwen, Olaf, unless I'm missing one of the ones from the stats here. So a lot of tank options, but Renata Glask is instead the ban. They're worried more about the Varus pairing than the potential top lane health bar. I suppose you can't ban out all the tanks, so I don't hate that.
Also, could set up for something like a Nautilus, too. Just combo with Jhin and Engage and some more follow-up, so... maybe some counters to help with that. Good. The Udyr ban tells me that Philip wants Cassante, so I think a Cassante ban for that would make a lot of sense here.
I kind of like Nautilus on Fear's side too, though. Yeah. Just if you want more health bars, if you want more people that can absorb damage. Although Tahm Kench is also up, so I don't know if Tahm Kench Varus is a very solid lane. Maybe it can get hard countered by other things, but I'm just looking at health bars that can absorb the Jhin damage as well as the Nocturne initial engage.
If you're really based, you play Blitzcrank in the Tahm Kench Varus, but that's just me. You can run some other things into it. Jhin interacts. I do like the TK Varus just because, again, you have at least someone to save from the Ori Nocturne combo. It's really tough to deal with that as a team, and you know, Tahm Kench doesn't care if he gets shockwaved. Varus does. That said, Nautilus will be taken, so more engage. I don't love Nautilus this game.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of tough to reach a Jhin, and I think that Jhin actually deals decently well with Nautilus because you can play so far back, you can kind of avoid like some of the threat that Nautilus has. So I think it's really going to be on Daption to go mid. And that's why I'm curious to see Alistar actually being potentially picked here by Plux. I love Alistar. It's a good pick. You can get out of the Maokai ult if you tank it, but you don't have the same ability to answer mid roams. So this matchup can be warped by the support because Toasty will just have more support from his team mid. Again, interested to see how they can play around that.
The reason I like the Nautilus into comps like this is that Nocturne goes in, press R on Nocturne. He's probably just going to die. That's kind of a one-way ticket for the Nocturne at that point, depending on what he itemizes. So, and also you're just that frontline extra health bar for the Jhin. And speaking of, we have the Mordekaiser. So we're spreading out a little bit of that damage. AD from the Nocturne to the Jhin, AP from the Mordekaiser and the Orianna now.
I gotta say, something like Fiora would be dynamite this game. I mean, you have Mordekaiser, Alistar, Nocturne. Fiora actually feels really good. Also, Jhin, Ori isn't a ton of damage for something like a Fiora to deal with. I'm down for Philip to take a split pusher if he wants, and I know we haven't seen a lot of Fiora. I think it's a really good game for it. It's going to be locked in. Okay, that's a fun one.
Philip piloting the Fiora. We were talking about this top lane matchup heading into the series. Philip has a lot more experience. If you just look at like top competitive level between LCS and ACL than Dragoon has had, and he's pulling out a counter for the lane, also a counter for the composition. Philip is given the keys to victory here. Can he make it work for Fear?
All right, so talk about Fiora real quick. This tells me that Fear, they do not want to team fight. They're going to somewhat give the team fight to LiT, and I can't blame them for that. The bouncy house between Ori Alistar is going to be pretty deadly to deal with, but split push, no one can deal with Fiora. In this matchup in a Mordekaiser, you can't get hooked in by Mordekaiser's E. You can Q out of it, or you can drop the parry and try and find the stun. It's really easy for Fiora to kite away from Mordekaiser. I expect Philip to go Ghost this game. It could be... I want to see Ghost in some form against Mordekaiser. But Fiora, her power used to be very early on, because you go Grasp and Divine Sunder and kind of poke, trade the health bar. Sunder was OP, so you'd always kind of have health advantage and then push from there. Now Fiora is back to where she was before Sunder, where it's very much skewed towards late game and that power. We'll see if it's a Hydra early to help Fiora sustain. It does give a lot of push, but Fiora is a very different champion this new season, given that there's no more Divine Sunder. It really changed her power curve.
I'm curious how it's going to interact with Dragoon, because Dragoon traditionally, or at least last time we played the Mordekaiser, we saw him go for AP items early on, like the Rylai's, and then he goes for the armor items later on. Is he still going to opt for that, or does he need to hit armor earlier on? I think those plated steel caps are going to give him a lot of value in this matchup, and it's about surviving now. Can Dragoon hold the line for LiT and prevent the Fiora from popping off and having a carry performance, or can Fear get their first 2-0 win, their first 2-0 series of the spring split? X against the wall are LiT still. A reminder, they need to win 2 in a row here to take this one and continue their win streak going. 2-1's not a bad start for them overall in series score for the spring split. Higher than a lot of people expected for this team as well. A reminder, they are the newest team to promote into the NACL.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I really liked in terms of like some of the changes that we had to NACL. Of course, teams are required to keep 3 out of the 5 people they promoted with. And between Mirage Alliance and LiT, we kept 8 out of the 10. And actually, the staff even too, like Fawn was coaching with LiT beforehand. Svenskaren's new to Mirage Alliance, but I think it's still great to see because, and those teams, they earn their spot here, Kangas. And so I think it's really fun when, you know, they get to actually play it out. It's something that Dragoon's been waiting for a while, and frankly, I've been waiting to see Dragoon here for a while because I feel like he's been good enough in OQs to prove it. So definitely a cool story about this split.
I mean, again, Dragoon qualified twice. This guy absolutely deserves this spot here in the NACL. I'm happy that we still have him around. I know sometimes the players having situations like that, you start to wonder, do I have another split in me? Am I going to continue the dream of trying to make it there? So far, he has been. But as we take a look here at the lanes, we want to highlight what's going on in the mid and the bottom lanes, as well as the top lane. I mean, last game, if we go back to it, Toasty was getting the CS advantages early on. Lens was the big carry later in the game, alongside Philip, who got a solo kill against Dragoon early on. This time around, though, I think if we have to focus on where the junglers are looking, I'm actually looking top lane. I think this is not traditional for the meta, but I'm curious what your read are. Where do junglers try and impact first?
So it's an interesting clear at the moment because we actually have Maokai setting up for the Grubs clear. And I've seen this from a lot of junglers. It's you start Wolves and you work your AoE camps, and you kind of like end up top. But the real reason, like your first clear is not the best. You're not going for a full clear. The real reason you're doing this is because on the respawn, or I should say like the second respawn of camps, your second clear, you make your way over to Grubs. And it's very popular to do this on blue side because you have the option to take your respawn Wolves and then go to Grubs. And if you complete the rest of your first clear, that gets you really close to level 5 if you're able to get a crab, which is key.
And if we look at a composition with a Fiora, I expect the Fiora to be hitting a lot of turrets this game. So stacking the Grubs, I think, is pretty solid for a game plan. Happy to see Chad's pathing already kind of hinting at which early objective he's going to focus. As speaking of, Philip does get a slight CS lead over the top lane. Dragoon catches a lot of it under turret, thankfully, so he's not too far behind, but Philip gets that early back. It's a longsword purchase.
And look at this priority from Daption. It really feels like they're setting up the map for the Maokai early. Chad, based after those 4 camps, has a Ruby Crystal, so he would be stronger for a potential fight here if needed. And Daption even used the priority that him and Varus had. He didn't reset while the Varus did. He just used it to make sure that this crab went the way of the Maokai. So a lot of resources put in the chat early.
But Dragoon's actually taking the fight to Philip right now. Riposte does not land a stun. Dragoon heals up a bunch right there. And Philip now has to catch his wave under turret. Doing a good job so far. Let's see how quickly Chad's able to make it up there, as now it's just a minute until both of the objectives spawn. This would be good timer. Chad can get the bottom camps and then walk right up there, as Kisna's actually taking the top scuttle, so they would see if that happens.
That's really nice from Dragoon, because that's a point when that wave bounces back. You're a base, so Philip has longsword and health bar advantage, and that's where you want to fight to actually make life really hard for the Mordekaiser. So the fact that Dragoon was able to get that wave all the way in is really nice. But here we see the clear from Chad. So he took the bot crab, took the 2 camps that he didn't take with his first clear, but now he just took the respawn Wolves, and he's going on to the respawn Raptors, and now we're on this side of the map around the 5-minute mark, and Chad should be level 5. or close to it. So, yeah, I think after this camp, he should get it. So, again, this is the clear that you do to set up that grub take early. I think it's really well executed from Fear.
I'm just worried Dragoon might have a window here. Chad's actually backing away because Philip's super low in health. He's pushed under the turret. Dragoon could actually walk down and contest at those grubs. Philip would have to back and TP most likely. So interesting that Chad has pivoted so hard. He is actually going for the Raptors.
So he's going to drop the grubs as it was mid advantage here for LiT. Not to mention top advantage too. He could have taken the respawn Raptors or Krugs. Instead, he goes bot. He's going to get spotted. So Chad ends up wasting a good amount of time. He doesn't trade out anything for this. And LiT's going to feel really good about that in the end.
Interesting series of events right there. It felt like we could see what the plan was a couple minutes ahead of time. Chad was on track for a grub take, but Dragoon just heavily trading against Philip, gets him in an awkward spot. Messages just pushing in Toasty, getting that prio there means that, I mean, it's a pivot, but at least Fear do pivot. Chad does not actually walk up to the grubs and take the bait of, oh, now I don't have priority for my lanes. He changes his game plan, even if it's known that he's on Dragon. At least he gets something for this.
All right. It's still late, though. And against a Nocturne, that's tough, because Nocturne wants to power clear, right? And Kisno, the setup he has, his goal is to get 6, get the Hexblade, and with that Electrocute, it's all about that upfront damage.
Jets wonder why the Dragon's not walking back over to the Flux. Wonder where his health bar is going here. The Q. Oh! Lighted arrow from Lens with the Ignite from Daption is enough for first blood in the bot lane.
And early flash from Plux. You want to flash after you see the arrow release. He flashes before and then takes him down.
Now Chad actually jumps in onto Kisno. The spell shield's down. He's locked in place from Daption. Trying to jump away, has the flash available. Tries to straight onto Toasty. Will not get it. Chad picks up the kill.
Good flash from Toasty to get out of that. And I love the conviction. You know, we talked a little bit about Chad and Toasty figuring out how to work together. That's a good example of them working together. Also, we set up that bot will have advantage. So Daption finds the kill bot, transitions it, that pressure, that timer, up a man, 2 mid. Daption impacting 2 plays at once. That's really nice. And this starts because Flux is just trying to hold the wave. That's greedy. Flux could have walked away from this. Instead, he walked back in, got the 8 the empowered auto from Daption. Boxed him down. Daption had a full health bar from that. He walked up, was able to impact 2 fights at once. Really big here coming out.
2 whoopsies in a row as now we're in the death realm. Flash forward from Dragoon. He fancies himself a 1v1. Philip has to pop the grand challenge. Has to out execute here. Can't get it. No! Philip misses the dive to get the final proc. Is now mid lane. Good play from Daption, stopping Flux from getting onto Toasty. No kills mid, but
I don't know if it would have been enough
from Dragoon.
Yeah, I don't know if it would have been enough, but Philip Q behind him, a little bit of an oops, wasn't able to prop the grand challenge. The heal didn't connect. The kill from Dragoon does, despite the counter pick from Philip, and that top lane. Talked about Dragoon early on, his champ pool, you know, him waiting to get in the Challengers League. Philip got the best of him in game 1. Game 2, Dragoon has his hand on the blind Mordekaiser, and he's cashing it in.
Solid performance from the top laner of LiT. One of the many reasons we get excited about this guy in the NACL. Not only the fact that his champ pool is exciting to watch, but it's what he's able to do with it. Like you said, the blind pick, Mordekaiser being the thing to step up and get that solo kill. He's known for a lot else. The reason Darius is also banned against him. Keep your eyes on this guy.
Keep your eyes also on Kisno now, as he does have level 6. Yep, here we go.
Speaking of, there we go! The combo of the Shockwave plus the Paranoia. Dosi does have the Emperor's Divide, but Kisno saves the spell shield and gets the kill. Well executed from LiT's mid and jungle.
I think he could have eaten another tower shot there. Might have been able to save the flash, but regardless, Toasty is flashless. Kisno played that very patiently. You could see him hold the spell shield until he saw that Emperor's Divide to make sure that he could neutralize that. We call that multiplication, you know, with the division, right? I guess that's how we get through it. Maybe.
I'm fully lost right now.
Were you not ready for me to hit you with the math?
No, I can't say I was.
You remember your pandas?
You know, fun fact. Some Kangas lore. Actually, we're not going to get into that. I think Dragoon's
going to be a math
He doesn't
professor?
have the Death Realm. I doubt he's going to go for it. I actually did major in math for about 2 years in college, and then I hit Calc 3, and I said, I don't like math anymore. Let's yell at video games. So, let's yell at this play here. Fear setting up the dive to bot lane. Chain of Corruption goes very wide, but hey, at least we have the Nautilus regardless. It doesn't matter. they get plugs.
The chain of corruption went into left field.
I don't know where that was going, man.
That said, Daption, his dredge lines have been on point today. Then still able to cash that in, pick up the kill, and Fear is zoning Rock Boom off the wave. Still a big win for Fear and a good response. Again, Gizno doesn't have that ult, so he can't match. Toasty is able to kind of neutralize mid, and Fear end up hitting a window and getting that Varus further ahead. And I gotta say, Lens had a really nice game one. I know we've talked about a lot of the members of Fear. Lens, for me, I remember sitting in the story meeting of Spring, and a lot of my peers were arguing for Masu, most valuable prospect, and I was like, is Lens better? Like, did
Spring
Lens,
of last year.
Yeah, spring of like this past year. I was like, did Lens have a better split? And I thought Lens had a really good year with Wildcard, and there was a chance that he wasn't going to compete. I'm really glad he's back. Now Philip.
He's doing well. The team is struggling around him as Philip does pop the Grand Challenge. Shockwave by messages and goes down. But Lens has to be the guy this game. I mean, we can keep talking about him because, yeah, action's happening elsewhere, but he's kind of the glue keeping Fear in this game.
And he is on-hit Varus. It's easy to pressure that, especially as a Nocturne Ori. So he will have to be sound at the moment. He's going to have quite the top laner to get through. This counter pick from Philip has not worked out. And a lot of it, again, talked about how, Fiora, you don't have that Divine Sunder where things felt so good if you were Fiora in the last season, because once you got that item, you were huge. Sheen was in the build path, something that Fiora can really abuse with her kit too. It's just not the case anymore. And Philip, even though like this champ thematically, it really counters what LiT's throwing at it. He was not strong enough in his laning phase to make sure that he could survive. The Mordekaiser Dragoon won the matchup pretty hard if Fiora is only useful for damage and splitting. And that's not going to be used at all here for a while. From
nope.
Like, Philip's going to have to get level 13 plus to be useful now.
4 plates for Dragoon. He has the Rylai's completed, got the early armor in his build as he's got the Bramble Vest, but even 3 stacks on Darkseal. Dragoon can just run through Philip at this point, so Fear have had to hard pivot the game plan. We set up everything. Fiora, top lane, split push. How is the Fiora going to carry the game? Pull the panic button. Pull the brakes. Now it's about bot lane, and instead Shad has pivoted towards a dragon stacking focus and playing to the Varus and the Nautilus. So adaptation is the name of the game for Fear here if they want to 2-0 this series. So far things are looking really solid for LiT though, as they're setting up a play. Caption engages on the Plux, messages, and Gizno are here. They got the combo. Paranoia with the shockwave. It's out of range, though. Paranoia goes in, but that might have been a one-way trip. Lens claims the kill. Messages couldn't quite get in range there.
Yeah, I mean, the shockwave's on cooldown. I don't know if he casted it too late.
I didn't see it in the fight.
So if you cast it too late, it can sombrero. You got to do it while Nocturne's in transit.
You have to be a little closer.
Yeah.
I mean, he went really far away from that drive rush into the alcove. I don't think there was an avenue for them to actually pull off the combo. But while that's happening, Dragoon does get the top turret. Philip is just getting Dragoon smashed in this lane and cannot even hold the line here. So it's good for Fear to absorb that play, but they're not quite out of the weeds yet.
Interesting game. All right, let's keep an eye on this ball. Messages and kids
What
know.
happens to the Orianna ult?
Oh,
there.
It just catches there.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Even at max range, I think that's too far. It's not actually that long of a range that you can pull off the combo.
Oh,
the
man.
Orianna needs to be really far forward to make that work.
All right. Well, that's a big miss. You got to make sure that those Nocturne Orianna combos hit if you're going to draft this composition. So Fear getting a little bit of a break there. As Lens, I mean, he was the member that was fed, right? If that doesn't connect on the Lens, we saw what happened. He was able to pump out damage and turn the fight on its head.
And Lens is the main win condition at this point for Fear. I'd say Toasty as well. The Azir can still look to scale up. It is not top lane. We don't need to look up there anymore unless Dragoon's getting another solo kill. Fear need their bot lane and mid lane to step up and actually have a big performance this time around. I mean, I say this time around. They also had great games last time. Toasty getting his own leads and Lens having a solid performance as a mid-game Lucian. But even more weight is on the shoulders now.
Topside dominance continues here for LiT. They're going to take this Rift Herald. The dragon spawning in a couple minutes. And honestly, I think that LiT should really look for this. I would love to see LiT, like, they have the Nocturne Ori combo up now. I think they need to use it to get a flash somewhere. Because then that will give them another target to go for when the dragon actually spawns.
Sure. 2 minutes for the dragon. If they made the play now, their ultimates will be back off cooldown. The flash would not be, right?
Yes. I mean, Come on, math major. It's 2 minutes versus a 5-minute cooldown.
Hey, I said I stopped. I'm a communications major and proud, all right?
All right.
I could lead a small group setting any day of the week, as I often feel I have to do with you here on the cast. Let's get refocused here, Cubby. They are actually walking into the bottom side here. Maybe we do see that combo.
It's a little bit too close to it, though. Like, they missed out that window on 2 minutes, because now if they used it, it wouldn't be back up.
And also Messages wasn't grouped up with them. That was actually Rock Boom walking beside Kizna. So we will not see the combo ahead of time. It will be saved for the Dragon, I assume, at this point, because it's a minute 15 till that spawns. And LiT are trying to just keep prio mid, keep prio bot. They actually teleported Dragoon top. That means Dragoon... I mean, maybe they do just give the Dragon... If Philip rotates bot side or stays top, they can actually use the combo onto Philip, who doesn't have flash, just the ghost and the teleport, and then try and take down a turret, maybe 2, and just give that third Dragon to Fear. That's scary to think about, but maybe could be another option for them.
I mean, at the moment,
where does he go?
I mean, at the moment, it still is good that it like has options this game, right? Like last game, we saw a lot of their executions just not really hit the mark. I know that last one we didn't see hit the mark either, but thanks to Dragoon in the top side, I mean, the split push Fiora is not split pushing anything. It's really Dragoon that's a threat with the grubs and how far ahead he is. And I think Dragoon just kind of stays top, and it's okay playing this one out 4v4. I know Fear has a lot of teamfight tools with their 4 on the bot side, but I still don't think it's enough to deal with Nocturne Ori.
I don't know if it's going to be a 4v4 because of Philip's teleport. Dragoon has to start walking down the river right now. We drop the Herald, as Chad actually takes a decent chunk of damage right there. We're focused on the turret for now. We're not going to find the engage on the Kizno, and we clear out the wave with the Herald. No ults used. Dragoon's got to walk back up top. He doesn't want Philip to get back into this game, because Philip could also just take the turret himself.
Fear is just going to give this. And the issue, though, with attacking Dragoon is that he can suck someone in with him. And then it's just a 1v1, and Dragoon's fed. So it's really just a non-play and a non-starter for Fear. And I really like how they played that one out. I mean, we gave Fear credit for playing things slow in game 1. Using the Herald, you get mid-prio, you force Fear to respond. Use that to get a free Drake. That's sound play from LiT, and good to see them using the tools they had at their disposal. Make sure it's an advantage and a free objective.
Fear not feeling confident enough to take the fight at the Dragon. LiT will take advantage of that and say, sweet, we stopped the Dragon stacking. We have all 6 of the grubs from earlier on, so we can actually take these turrets down. And I'm not really seeing a win condition for Fear. They are teleporting Philip in to flank Kizno and Messages. He does have the riposte. He doesn't use it onto the shockwave. Kizno also has the spell shield. Yeah, Philip's not able to stick on top of the Nocturne.
That was a really nice dodge in the riposte from Kizno to make sure that he was not stunned up. As he sidestepped that, I think that's the only way they find a kill. They will take the bot outer most likely from the pressure, but Messages can threaten Shockwave. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, the Paranoia goes through, and the Shockwave not used yet. Flash out from Toasty. Dapture could be in some trouble trying to lock down Kizno. There's no damage to follow up, though. The turret's about to fall to the minions. Dredge line back in. Plug should be the sacrificial cow here, as Fear actually do walk forward. Chad flashing in. Bramble Smash not going to be even close to enough damage. Keep Messages ult in mind, but doesn't have the mana. Shockwave used. Chad goes down. Plux is still alive. Just falls at the very end. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but that took so long for Fear to find one.
And I swear I watched Core JJ do the same thing on stage. What just happened to Chad? The alley combo into the turret. Chad went a little bit too deep trying to reach for Kizno. Didn't take what was in front of him, and honestly, if he goes on Messages, like maybe he gets that flash out, which could be very valuable moving forward. Because of course, when you have Azir, you have Varus, you can punish flashes being down really well if you're Fear. So I don't like Chad going for Kizno in that scenario, and ultimately it's a 1-for-1 of the play that I feel like Fear had real advantage given how that one started off.
I'm surprised the Messages had enough mana at the end there to pull in the Shockwave as well. I mean, Chad was just locked in place for so long. Shout out to Plux for setting it up. But like you said, it's also on Chad. He's the one that dove in and gave them that window, gave Plux that avenue to almost make it out of there. And LiT find a trade. I mean, they'll trade the Alistar for the Maokai. They feel fantastic about that one, as now the game is at 19 minutes. The gold lead doesn't feel monumental, but I still feel like LiT are in such a dominant position in this game regardless.
Messages going to clean up this bot outer to help with some grubby friends. And I mean, honestly, maybe Philip's able to take off. Looks like Philip's going to go Trinity Force next. It's machine items. Oh boy, hold on.
That was
the Death Realm.
Big chunk right there. Death Realm used. Flash forward from Dragoon. Toasty does not have flash.
He's
just going to jump away back towards his team. Has the backup. No more Death Room for Dragoon. How tanky is him? And the answer is tanky enough. Yeah. Curtain called. Rock Boom throwing out the damage. And all members of Fear are going to wish they could have that team fight back. Woo! They thought that they were collapsed under Dragoon, but they got collapsed on themselves.
They did not have the TP advantage. The Shockwave whipped again. Doesn't even matter, as that fight for LiT was just better, and Dragoon is too big in this game. As he was sent packing, he went bot, and he's going to TP just to make sure they secure this one for free. No jungle on the map for Fear. This should be LiT's Baron, and LiT and continue to build a nice game off the back of their sturdy top laner, who blind picked Mordekaiser, got counterpicked, and it just has not mattered.
Nope. Dragoon knows how to play this champion, knows the ins and outs, and is showing us exactly what the Mordekaiser is capable of as well on Friday. This is not the first game this weekend that he's played this. Let's get another look at the replay.
So Dragoon flashes to keep Rywise going, and Toasty, he pops the Seekers, and he's got an entire team coming. What happens with Lens? Like, Lens gets yoinked in, and he doesn't auto-attack Dragoon at all. After this, Messages tries to land a Shockwave, but Toasty already fell because Rock Boom was supporting from the curtain. As, man, I mean, it really feels like, I mean, Fear had 4 there, but if Lens isn't able to auto in that fight, there's nothing that Fear can do, and Lens didn't get the damage down, and LiT just ran away with the fight.
Lens played that like a lethality Varus, and unfortunately, you gotta throw out the autos with this particular build. Wasn't able to find any. I think the paranoia is a big part of that. So scary if you're the AD carry to see the lights go out. When there's a Mordekaiser in front of you, you're like, okay, wait, I'm gonna get ulted. Oh, I wasn't ulted? Well, I guess I gotta get back into the fight. Guess I'm just gonna go down right now. Oh, there's some auto attacks. Rock Boom goes on the rampage, and a big engage from Flux between the turrets, but Philip might be able to turn this one around regardless. Rock Boom goes down. Philip gets the kill credit. Everyone from LiT are losing their minds. They're just diving between turrets as Toasty now has time to join into the fight. Watch for the Azir. Ultimate's available. Where's the Shrima shuffle? Jumps onto Flux. Damage on the Mordekaiser, but Dragoon with the double kill is just unkillable. Toasty's now looking at the Mordekaiser instead as Philip goes on the Plux, but Messages over the wall. Plux buys the time. Toasty with the shuffle on Dragoon. Can he get the outplay? No! He gets smashed in the mid lane. Dragoon takes the kill and the turret.
Oh my god, the Mordekaiser is so big this game as everyone jumps on Dragoon and no one came out. He didn't even need the death realm to send the ball there.
Nope. That was, it looks crazy. I thought LiT were throwing, but then I saw Dragoon's health bar refuse to go down. Let's get another look at it.
Hey, so Lens gets pretty much one-tapped as Rock Boom flashes in to finish him, but then Philip has a really nice fight. He actually lands this riposte on the Rock Boom, finds the stun, and is able to clean up the Jhin. But then once Dragoon joins, I mean, it's all melees here. Nautilus and Maokai just do not do enough damage. Chad rushed the Frozen Heart. Dragoon just feast upon them.
And Messages flashing over the wall. He's still able to throw out his shields, still able to throw out his damage. Orianna DPS didn't really go down at all in this fight. As, Philip's so close to getting plugged. Let's watch Toasty on the side, though. Yeah, the turret just goes down right as he shuffles him in.
Shield came back.
Yep.
Oh, man.
That's a lot of damage.
That is a mace that's hitting like a brick wall as Dragoon, he dropped the hammer on Toasty there.
10 stacks on the Mejais.
Oh.
Not a Darksteel anymore. That's a Mejais, baby.
We're reading here. We're getting our pages in, Kangas. Dragon was picked up on the back half of that replay by LiT, so that's now off the map, 7k gold lead. And it's certainly looking like it is going to a Game 3. Must say I'm not surprised based on how each team has played so far this season, as a lot of our mid-games in Challengers have been very flippy.
Ooh, the Shockwave was used early there, so Toasty actually does survive that. Right. Okay, well, I mean, they don't really lose much. I think it's a longer cooldown on the Zonias than the Paranoia combo will be.
The Zonias is good, as that is one way for Toasty to get out. But, yeah, I mean, a lot of these teams, I feel like they've had very flippy mid-games. And I'm not surprised to see, you know, LiT take over one game and blow it up in their favor. Fear with the first one. And honestly, Game 3, I just hope that we have LiT execute a bit better. I know Messages, the scoreline looks okay, but not all these Nocturne Ori combos have connected. And I think that if they have, LiT could have played this game out a little bit cleaner to here. And also, Philip wants this game back himself. I mean, having counter pick like this and being down this much to Dragoon, who has kind of broken the game in its favor, feels bad.
To his credit, CS hasn't fallen too far behind, but a lot of that is Dragoon just walking away from the waves and letting Philip free hit because Dragoon needs to be able to join up with the team if necessary. When it comes down to just the damage trades, it's all Dragoon. That is where things start to fall apart for Fear's top laner as everyone's grouping around the last tier 2 turret that will want to take this one down if they can. And without the combo, it would be tough, but guess what? They got the combo again. Paranoia and Shockwave are both off cooldown. You have to be very careful how they play this. Here we go. Here it is. Combo in. Oh, they got right onto Toasty. Did not have Zonias, did not flash or ult this time around. Now Chain of Corruption goes out from Lens, but again, he's got to output the auto attacks. He's just not hitting anything. So LiT are able to take
we got yoinked.
They got one turret. They're going to go for the second one. They don't have a wave yet right now. As Phillips actually trying to split push mid lane. Lens just falls down. Messages has the range to get him. Dapshin will surely die too. Messages with a double kill, and that is the game. LiT will continue pushing up top side. They got all the grubs to help them out. And what a reversal. We're going to a game 3 because LiT have a solid performance from Dragoon. He gave over the first blood to Philip last time around. I think he's playing with a vengeance in this game 2. GG. LiT are bringing us to game 3.
I mean, the only thing missing from Dragoon that game was some emote spams and some hoi hoi hois as the Mordekaiser. I mean, everything else is coming up his way. It was a really good draft for Mordekaiser, like regardless of top lane pick. Nautilus, Maokai, you feast upon those two carries. Varus, if you see a Mordekaiser, you're pretty much forced to go on hit as the Varus deal damage. And the issue with that is that you're still immobile and have to play within the range of the Mordekaiser, which we saw Dragoon take advantage of multiple times that game with how far ahead he was.
There was no response from Fear that time around, so we're going to send it to a short break before we see what the response is in draft for game number 3. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be right back after this.
Introducing the new Footlong Sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious Footlong Cookie, Footlong Pretzel, or Footlong Churro.
We're the LCS Challengers League. We're the future of the LCS.
We're Challengers League. We change our name and format every 2 years. I wonder what the next one's going to be.
We're Challengers League. Of course we play Best of Race and Fearless Draft.
We're Challengers League. Of course we have pauses too, but ours are fire alarms.
We're Challengers League. Who should actually win this year?
We're Challengers League. We play every single weekend, even if LCS takes off.
We're Challengers League. Our Twitch stream has a sub button.
We're Challengers League. FlyQuest, also #1 right now.
We're Challengers League, and we're taking over the Riot Games arena.
Welcome to the 2024 Spring Split of the LCS Challengers League. This spring will feature 10 teams competing in a single round-robin best-of-3 format, and for the first time ever, we'll be implementing Fearless Drafts. If you're not familiar, Fearless Draft adds a new twist to pick and ban. Once a champion is picked by a team in the series, it cannot be picked by them again. So if Team A drafts Teemo in Game 1, they cannot play Teemo for the rest of the series. Team B could pick Teemo in Game 2, but then wouldn't be able to play him in Game 3. And like LCS, all games will be played on the live patch, so you can take what you see from the games and try them out on your own. The top 8 teams from our regular season advance to the NACL playoffs, which will feature a double elimination bracket with a mix of best-of-3 and best-of-5 matches. Alongside the NACL are 2 qualifier tournaments, which will also feature Fearless Drafts on the live patch. The bottom 2 teams from the NACL regular season will compete against the top 4 teams from the qualifiers in a promotion tournament, battling in a double elimination bracket to qualify into the NACL in summer 2024. All LCS Challengers League games and coverage will be available on twitch.tv/LCS_challengers, with matches starting right after the LCS. And as a reminder, with team revenue shares, every sub in Twitch Prime directly supports the teams and players. Another split of Challengers League begins right now, and we can't wait to see you there.